and gentlemen, let's go.
Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at?
Well, actually, I live in Delaware now, so does that make me a Delawarean?
Singing girl.
You know, Beyonce is my friend in my head. Jay my people sometimes, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, be true, man.
You know, when I was a kid, I had an imaginary enemy. Like, does that make me crazy?
Life as P, presented by Say What Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Life as P. I'm your host, Phoenix Ash. I'm outside again. It's not night, though. It's middle of the day. It's kind of quiet in the neighborhood today, except for someone is mowing their lawn, because they don't care. And I'm doing a podcast. They don't care. I wonder, can they mow mine? My grass is crazy in the back. But anyway, thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, I appreciate you giving me a shot. I appreciate you popping in to see what's up. If you are a repeat listener, thank you so much for riding it out with me. I truly appreciate you guys. So I'm up on Amazon today, right? Because, you know, published author, Al, got to be looking at a lot of stuff. Actually, I probably don't need to look at a lot of this stuff, but I do because people talk about it like, oh, my reviews or how many I got and all that stuff. Yeah, if you read Soil Sheets or Cookies and Crumbles, please leave a review. But anyway, I'm looking at the reviews, and so I got a 1-star on Soil Sheets. Now, most of my reviews are 5 and 4 stars, and I'm very thankful for people who enjoy my writing, particularly people who say that the book is well written. That's like speaking to my heart right there. But I got 1 star, and I was surprised because, not because I got a 1 star, because it was the person's truth. And they basically said, don't read this book until you read the next book or you have the next book in hand, which to me is just a suggestion to just download both books. But they thought that kind of review was 1 star worthy. And what I was actually surprised about was that it didn't devastate me. And I am a super, super emotional being. I'm so emotional. And I get hurt very easily. And I was like, damn, like I was like, this didn't destroy me. And so I'm talking to my husband because I'm his friend today. And I just was like, did my skin get thicker, or is it the exposure to other writers and knowing that they too have these experiences of getting reviews that don't seem to be in line with their other reviews, or getting how many stars it doesn't seem to align with what the actual comments were. And he's like, maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe, knowing that, this is not a personal attack, that so many other people have experienced this, and this is, not about you. And I think from, your husband's perspective that your skin did get a little thicker. I'm so happy about that. So I don't know if like writing or being published has like sharpened that portion of me, because it happened out of nowhere. And I was like, oh my God, my skin is thick. Ow. But don't try to hurt my feelings, yo. Don't test it. Okay. Don't do that. I don't react well when I'm hurt. But anyhow, I wonder if some of us are avoiding putting our stuff out there and sharing it with the world because we don't think of ourselves as having thick skin. And we're afraid that someone's going to judge it negatively. Someone's not going to be for it. And, I know social media is a beast. People just let whatever fly. And, it can really damage a person's thought of themselves, damage some self-esteem if you're not prepared for it. However, I am one of those people that, if I'm being completely honest, I think that for a long time, putting writing on hold and not making more of a career out of it, not going above and beyond to pursue certain life patterns in order to accomplish it, was because of my fear. Not that I thought I wasn't good, but fear that other people wouldn't think that I was good. It didn't matter how many people in my personal life would say, girl, you're talented. oh my God, I love your stories. I can't wait to read this. I can't wait to read that. I was afraid of the rest of the world. I was. It was just like, well, same thing when I used to rap. I totally preferred being in the studio, recording and writing for other people because I had fear of the stage. Now, when I get on stage and I'm holding a mic, I love the mic, y'all. Love it. Look, I got a whole podcast. I love the mic. But to some degree, if someone says do a live podcast, I'm afraid because I'm like, oh my God, is anybody going to show up? Who would buy a ticket? I'd have to give all the tickets away for free because no one's going to buy that. So I still do have those fears in certain portions of my life, which I'm working on. But I'm happy to say that do it anyway, put it out there anyway. And yes, you're afraid, but over time, if you're anything like me, over time, your skin will get thicker. It will withstand when you understand. And I think it took me this long to a certain degree to understand my craft, because I have a craft and I love it. And, I think I study it and I'm sure there's more studying to be done, but you don't know it all and you don't know your craft as intimately as you think you do. It's taken me all this time to realize, okay, well, why do I write so many endings that, are hit and miss with readers? Some readers are like, oh my God, that was such a dramatic ending. And then some people are like, I felt like it was inconclusive. And I'm trying to figure out why. And when I think about me and my writing style, I say, my characters are very real to me. When you read my books, you are reading somebody's life. You are reading somebody's journey through something. And for me, unless you die, there are parts of your life, there's certain issues that will be concluded, but they all won't be concluded at the same time. They won't all just end in a bow. There's always going to be some imagination, something that you feel like you could take this further, or, thinking about the life after, what happens after this point, because their lives haven't ended. So I think that all my stories have the possibility of having a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 because these are people's lives. I feel like when I get a story in my head, I feel like I'm documenting someone's life. I'm following them. I'm watching them. I actually see this and I'm just jotting down the notes of what it is I see. I close my eyes and I dream a little bit. So I have daydreams, night dreams, whatever. I just dream a little bit and I watch it happen and then I write it down. And of course, it's unorganized. It's all over the place. It's on paper, in my phone, on the whiteboard in my bedroom, on the tack board in my office. It's, scribbled on pieces of paper. It's hell trying to collect all that stuff when I'm ready. but I get it and I get it together. So I think there's, to some degree, like I said, it's just not always going to end how you want it in a happy. But now, if you're someone who needs happily ever after, I hate saying don't read my books because I feel like you should read my books. Because honestly, I feel like I'm also explaining some stories that maybe we don't get the details about, some other people's stories, and we make assumptions about people and we judge their lives and we shake our heads and tisk without necessarily knowing how people got to this particular point in their life. And I feel like the stories that I write may help us be sensitive to people's details, may help us understand how the people in our life came to be where they are, or people who are not in our life, who are trying to be in our life, or whatever, or people we've cut off. Not necessarily meaning that's going to change your decision on how you interact with that person, but it may make you a little more sensitive to someone's details or more sensitive to your own. Forgiving oneself for our background is extremely difficult. In Cookies and Crumbles, my main character, Mercy Davenport, is struggling with forgiving herself. Not being able to forgive yourself can traumatize the mess out of you. It can make you make all kinds of decisions that don't seem logical or just make you seem erratic or make you seem self-sabotaging. Sometimes the self-sabotage is what led to what you need to forgive yourself for. And it's hard to break that cycle, because once you're in that cycle, it's like, how do you not martyr yourself over and over and over again, thinking that you deserve whatever punishment life is doling out? How do you not do that? I don't know. Now, I don't want you to think like this is a completely like sad and, gut wrenching book to read. There's a lot of interesting moments in there. But, I'm very curious about life and how we forgive ourselves and how we move forward from huge mistakes, or, what built us up to become the person that makes that kind of mistake in the first place. Now with my work in progress, I think this is categorized as a romance novel. And it's very sexy. I will say that. But, my publisher's like, readers are going to be so mad. They're going to love this book, but they're going to be so mad. And I'm like, do I need more readers mad at me? I mean, I guess if it's just going to give me more readers, fine. But it's a story that I feel like needs to be told, because I don't think enough stories are told about marriage and the intricacies of keeping one together. We see the pretty picture and we have the old couple that's marriage goals, or who's been married for 25 years and still so in love with each other. But have you ever interviewed any of those people? Like, very few couples are like, oh, it's been magic since day one. And even if you get that response, like, I don't know, I've been married close to 15 years and I'm like, I might tell you that today, but in 3 days, my response on how this marriage has been is going to be probably very different. Yeah, depending on what conversation he started my morning with. So, it's not the same. And so when I document a story, I'm documenting someone's life, and it's good in one moment, it's not so great in the next. And sometimes we flip-flop back and forth. But I think the details are fun and interesting to watch when it's not yours. When you don't have to live it, it's so much more interesting than the trauma of walking the path yourself. But I don't know. So the judgment of 1 star. It's funny, right? I'm doing this whole podcast. I'm talking about this 1 star. I've gotten 4 or 5 stars. I ain't do no podcast about my 4 and 5 stars. Maybe I should, because they were great. They were awesome. I so love it. And it got me to thinking too, like, there's some other people in my life who are struggling, who are, writing articles, writing articles and doing drafts that they're getting very tough feedback for. And it's hard. It's hard, but I feel like, you may shed tears the first couple times that you get that harsh feedback. But if you just keep putting it out there and keep doing what you know to be right, keep answering the call, eventually, it's not that the feedback is going to change. It's that you'll have more input from other people and the pool will be bigger. And so, yeah, you may still get that hard feedback, but you also expose yourself to people who will give you that great feedback, to people who get it, to people who understand you, to people who are aligned with your craft, aligned with what you're doing, who take the time to read into your intention, or even take the time to ask you about your intention and discuss whatever it is that you're putting out there, whether it be a book, film, article, whether it be cooking, catering, whatever. Keep putting it out there. Keep doing it. We need practice, because not only will we be exposed to more people who will be supportive and encouraging and give us the feedback that we can actually do something with. Not all of it is going to be easy, but some of it we can actually implement those changes. We may actually be able to open our eyes and say, okay, this is consistent right here. So going forward, maybe I should try this, or maybe I've been tooling around with something in my mind, and maybe that's the thing that I need to, pursue, because it's more in line with this other stuff. And, I've been afraid because it's unlike everything else I've done, but let me try, which is what I'm doing with my next project. I always wanted to write a novel that's purely considered like a romance novel. And I'm still not sure if that's what I'm executing here, but whatever. I'm going to try. I did a whole outline and everything, and I'm excited and I'm moving forward. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm learning, and I'm just sharing with you everything that I'm learning because maybe you got some stuff that I can learn from. Hit me up, get up in my DMs. Instagram, I'm P Writes. Twitter, I'm P Writes. Facebook, I'm Phoenix Ash. I'm on Messenger too. Please, I already say please. I don't want to see your private parts or whatever. Don't ask me if I'm married because I done said I am. But for real, if you want to discuss books or marketing or have suggestions and say, hey, download this app, I think you can really find it useful. I'm taking notes from other women who are published by my publisher, Beloved Publications. And I'm like, these ladies have like so much knowledge. And I'm like, there's people who've like written 20 books. And I'm like, sheesh, I got 1 novel, 2 novellas. I got a couple of nonfiction books with the holidays coming up too. If you want to send someone a quick, cute read, I have Musings While Binging. Go get that. It's very cheap. It's on Amazon. But if you like audiobooks, I have In Her Makeup on Audible. I'd be curious to know what you think of that. I'd be curious to get some reviews on the Audible for In Her Makeup. So if you're an Audible listener, please download In Her Makeup. I think it's free. If it's your first book that you download, like when you first do the trial, you can do it for free. But yeah, download it, listen, leave a review. I'd really be curious because I'm considering having Soil Sheets and Cookies and Crumbles done as audibles, and I don't know. So curious on where it lands with you guys. If you can just let me know, that would be dope. I'm not extremely diligent about checking reviews, which is why I'm probably going on about this 1-star review. Who knows when it was put, but I didn't even look at the date. But do that, and then hit me up in my DMs and be like, oh, check your reviews or whatever, or I don't know, send me a screenshot. But I'm curious, and I think I'm only curious because my skin got thicker. There was a time where I'd be like, I don't even want to ask. When I first started publishing, I didn't care who reviewed it. I was like, I don't want to read the reviews. I was too afraid. If it didn't look like 5 stars, I looked away. I was like, I don't want to see it. Not that I didn't appreciate people taking the time to read and leaving a review, but my heart couldn't take it. I was like, oh my God. But, over time, it's just like, all right, it is what it is. Maybe I can fish through here and find something that's useful for my next project, which is pretty much what I look at reviews for now. That and the fact that I want Amazon to recommend my book, and I need 20 or 25 reviews for that to happen. But I fish around, is there something that I could do? I take readers' feedback into consideration. I did 2 books for now, I guess what's dubbed the Davenport series, and it's Soil Sheets and Cookies and Crumbles. And I really intended to leave it there. But I've gotten a couple of people who have hit me up in DMs or left a review that requests for a 3rd. So I don't know. I feel like more feedback is necessary, but based upon what I've gotten, a 3rd is probably in the works. But I don't know if that's going to make anybody happy, but it's making a story twirl around in my head. So I don't know. I'm probably going to have to document that somewhere. But yeah, put your stuff out there. Keep going. I know it's scary. The world is scary because people are assholes. They are. They step all over you, step all over your craft. They have more than 2 cents that they want to put in, and then they want to make a mockery of you. They want to do all of that. But for every one that does that, there's 5 that say, keep going. I like what you're doing. I see it. I can see it. There's somebody in that 5 who'll say, not only do I see it, but I have a suggestion. If you're open to it, maybe try blah, 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 blah. Try this, try that. I read someone's book, and I was really impressed with, for the genre, compared to a lot of stuff in the genre, I thought it was extremely well written. Particularly, and I don't want to say the genre because I don't want to stereotype it. If it's a genre that you read or a genre you're thinking about reading, I don't want to steer you one way or the other. But for the genre, I thought that the book was well written. I believe the author's name is Camille. And I reached out yo, who did your editing. And she didn't necessarily have an editor. She had a reader who gave her feedback, which, you know, if you can't afford an editor, but you can afford to pay 2 or 3 people to read your stuff and give you feedback on it, I would venture to say that's almost as good. Like, the editor is going to get your technical, your grammar, you know, switch around your content or whatever. But if you get a good reader who can just say, they can give you a careful read and tell you where they found issue or where they didn't understand or they weren't on board with it, I would say that that's worth it. That's worth it, because I believe that Cookies and Crumbles is written as well as it is because I had a reader who, you know, gave me some very tough feedback. And my reader read Soiled Sheets and gave me some tough feedback there too. But I was only able to implement very little for that. But the little changes that I made in Soiled Sheets, I think, with the re-release has made a total difference. It really has. And I'm thankful for my reader because, particularly because at the time when I employed her, I wasn't published. And so I think being able to implement those changes and submit that work ready to be published made a difference of where I stood and what I looked like, and as an author and someone who cared about their craft. But it's tough. You got to thicken your skin, but keep putting it out there. It's so hard. We want to keep everything close to the chest. We don't want to share our babies. But, you know, how are you going to get those suggestions that's going to help make you better? You're not going to just wake up and all of a sudden be like, I think I should read this book, some book that you've never heard of that will help you study your craft. You know, I think I should go to this fair, some fair you've never heard of, never been on anywhere to even see that it's popping. But someone else may have the knowledge or feedback. And yes, there's going to be the asshole who steps all over your craft, who has nothing good to say, who thinks that it is their job to make you feel as small as possible. Don't mind them. Don't mind them. If you can find something useful in what they say, great. If not, if it's all just hurtful stuff with no real backing, don't mind them. Mind the people that are pouring into you and lifting you up. Mind the people who are giving you suggestions, who are asking questions, getting your mind to work so that you can work out these solutions for yourself, getting you to the next level of your evolution. Mind those people, but let it go. Let it fly and move on, because I believe that we all have like a pipeline of wonderful things that we're supposed to produce. And the more that we hold things close to the chest and we don't let it fly, we sort of clog up the pipe. And let it fly. Let the next thing come through. Let it fly. You got this. You got this. And if anything, I'm here for you. Hit me up. Start venting in my DMs. Well, people already vent in my DMs, but I'm good with it. And I'm like, honey, let's talk about it. What's wrong? Let's go for it. Because I need you to know that you're not walking through this journey alone. The fact that you listen to my podcast lets me know that I'm not walking through it alone. And I truly believe that has contributed to my thicker skin as well. I know I got some people with me. All right, that's my spiel. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope that you take the next step in your journey and you just go ahead and let yourself fly. All right, until the next time when we could exchange power, please pick up my book, Soiled Sheets, available on Amazon and Kindle, as well as Cookies and Crumbles is available for download on Kindle, free with Kindle Unlimited. In a minute, it's about to be available for paperback. That's coming really soon. And let me know. You think I should do audibles for them? Let me know. Hit me up at P Writes on Twitter, at P Writes on Instagram. All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Peace.